I would say, oh, that's okay because I stay an hour late after work. So it all evens out.
Bro, check the chat when you start talking. So I did the thing where I didn't have the mics turned on, so they weren't able to hear anything until that. So we're gonna.
They probably just heard I'm not a white supremacist.
No, they didn't even hear any of that.
Goodness.
So we're back. Good old silent movie Fridays. Whoops.
Well, y'all could just read lips. Help learn how to talk. She couldn't see or hear anything.
Yes. Flo Tennyson says at least once a week. LOL. Yes. What's up, Pork Chop? Hey, everybody.
So basically, Austin said that we're not white supremacists because we were not on time today.
We didn't start the show on time today, which means we're not white supremacists. Yay!
And then I was saying how I used to be late all the time until I moved to Missouri. And then Austin taught me time management.
Because, yes, I married a Jewish wife, so I'm not a Nazi. But there is one thing that I am a National Socialist about, and that is being on time.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, it makes you so much more relaxed when you're actually on time. Now I overestimate how long it takes me to do certain things. Before I used to underestimate. I was like, oh, it'll just take me 10 minutes to shower.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, give myself an hour.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm more realistic.
Welcome to the Wake Up America show. It's the silly shirts but serious coverage show. Yes, we've got a lot to talk about this morning. Of course, the NATO press conference last night, which was just one big after another. We've got a billion clips this morning to play. Vice President Trump, which I think he was probably surprised to find out that he's white, that he's vice president.
Yeah, I was like, I never knew he was a vice president. That's interesting.
Yeah, so we've got the clips to play and react to this morning. More Democrats are calling for Joe Biden to step down after the press conference last night. 3 more Democrats called on President Biden to withdraw from the 2024 presidential race after last night's press conference. Democrats reps Jim Hines of Connecticut, Scott Peters of California, Eric Sorensen of Illinois says Biden should step down after his roughly hour-long press conference that he was trying to use to shore up his candidacy. Didn't help with some people last night. What was your reaction to the press conference last night, Steph? We watched it together.
Oh, we did. I mean, I think he did really good at explaining more like foreign policy stuff. But when they were asking him about his competency and his abilities to continue to be in office, that's where he wasn't doing so hot. His explanations were not very good.
Yeah, and he had to have the reporters that he would call on with the questions and things. And he was...
Right. I thought when he's like, I have a list right here of all of the people I'm going to call on. I'm like, why don't you just, give yourself up to everybody and show your weakness here? Like, just say, I don't have a list. Just pretend the list doesn't exist.
I noted, too, that they didn't take a question from Fox News' Peter Doocy.
Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering if most of the people from the press were Democrats in that office, or in the audience, or if they were Republicans.
Stephanie!
Why did they pick who they picked on that list?
Stephanie is wondering if most of the reporters that were in the audience were Democrats or if most of them were Republicans. See,
the Fox News person was a Republican.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing. This is why I married her. You see, she's so innocent. She's so sweet.
Hoping it'd be, unbiased. We'd have a little from each side.
Okay, now there's all right. Now there's
the questions. They weren't all like, "Yay, Joe Biden." They were really interrogating him.
Yeah.
They were questioning. The questions were so similar, though. They were all just like questioning, "Can you actually be in office? Are you able to do this?" And it was just the same thing over and over again in different ways.
We got to say thank you to Mighty Megatron for his $5 donation. Thank you, sir. He said the left is eating themselves. They're having a civil war internally. They're freaking out. That makes them very dangerous because they'll do whatever it takes to keep power. Very true.
I feel like they're very vulnerable and scared.
Yeah.
They're feeling powerful right now.
Well, what do you do with what happens when, you corner a frightened animal? You know what I mean? What happens?
Right. Well, they do start to get aggressive and they start to try to survive. They get into survival mode. So, yes, they may start to become scary and violent.
And Cecilia, thank you for your $5 donation as well. So that's $10 towards the $60 goal.
Thank you. Letting us get to the dock.
All of our Rumble rants. It's not just going this last 2 weeks that we're in because we went to the doctor yesterday. We're now baby Hazel is now fully operational. Death baby.
So yesterday, baby Hazel was being stubborn. She wasn't doing her breathing.
The practice breathing that they do, which
Yes.
is kind of like this like chest like compression
So
stuff.
I had to get a stress test with these things hooked up to me to make sure that her heart rate increased. And it's so funny that every time Austin talked in the room, her heart rate increased. And that's what we needed to pass the test.
Yes.
Because whenever I talked, nothing happened. So he is the magic person.
Yeah,
here.
whenever baby Hazel heard my voice, her heart rate would go up. So and when I posted the picture yesterday, which I'll show it later on the stream, when I posted the picture, everybody's like, girls always look like their dads.
Yeah, I was telling you, it bothers me that so many women say this. And I'm like, why are they so sensitive about their child looking like the father? Like, hello, you selected this person to mate with.
Right.
Do you not want your child to look sort of like this person? Are you not attracted to this person at all?
Well, first of all, like, look at me. Like, she's gonna be freaking gorgeous.
I know, like,
so.
I'm not a huge fan of my nose, so I'm more of a fan of your nose. I would prefer her to have your nose than my nose.
You're Jewish, but you're lucky because you don't have like the whole like happy merchant crook nose. You know what I mean?
No, and I mean my dad is Christian, so it's like I got part Jewish genes. So it's like my nose is not fully Jewish, so I'm lucky. And you have even more voluptuous lips than I have, so it's like I want her to have voluptuous lips. She's going to be the next Angelina Jolie. Hello.
This is funny shit. Plus, Penny says it's good they don't look like the milkman.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the ongoing joke for me and my sister because we have red hair. So, yeah, if Hazel has red hair, then people will be like, she's from the milkman, probably.
We'll see. We've got news to cover today.
Oh, sorry. Hazel's not news.
Well, no, she's not. But she will be soon because we did set a date. Actually,
we did.
There is a sort of cutoff date, if you will.
Right. So, I really tried to go the natural way this entire time, and that is still my plan. But I do understand that sometimes it can be more risky for baby to be all natural. And one of the things is if they go past 41 weeks, then the placenta starts to deteriorate, and then the baby actually is not benefiting so much from staying inside of mom. So we have an induction date just in case Hazel does not make her way out of me by 41 weeks. And so the date is August 1st.
Yes.
At night, we'll start an induction process.
So in order for me to remain semi-functional at work, because Steffi's got to take a step back, but I still have to make money. If baby Hazel hasn't come by the 29th, then we'll go into the hospital on the 1st, and then we'll spend that weekend there at the hospital so that
we strategically chose it because I'm like, that's good. It'll give us a few days where you don't have to be doing the show.
And then I'll try and come back to work and bring the show back probably like mid of next week, like that next Wednesday, which is like the 6th or 7th or something like that. So
anyways, maybe I'll be there on that Friday to show off baby Hazel.
Exactly.
That would be the ideal scenario.
Exactly. So hopefully this is not the last Freedom Family Friday for Stephanie
for 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks.
For sure. Well,
not
possibly for sure. But in my head, for sure.
So in reality, any day between now and the 1st, Hazel could come. So
yeah. Austin keeps asking me every week. He's like, how many more days do you think you'll be on the show? And I'm like, I'm staying here. I feel like Biden, where I have to convince everybody I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere.
You will release the Kraken. I mean, Hazel.
I know. Yeah, you're like my Nancy Pelosi questioning me.
She'd be like that baby from Men in Black, where when they got born, it was like the octopus baby. Remember when Will Smith delivered the baby?
I saw Men in Black a long, long time ago, so my memory has faded.
And it was like a cute little octopus. Oh yeah. Oh no, it was like Men in Black 2. They like. Oh yeah, one of the guys like mated with an alien, and then they had the baby, and it was like the octopus baby or something like that. Anyways,
say as long as she looks like George, our dog, we'll be just fine.
Okay.
George is just the cutest.
Let's get to the news. The Biden press conference. Nelson 65. Thanks for the $10. Says both for the bonus content and to get Justin's new show. Oh, we have a little bit of news. Justin's not on the show today.
He probably won't be on the show until I give birth. I don't even know.
Knock, knock, knocking on
He's going to
cervix
be
door.
traveling, and he'll be
Yeah.
coming to Missouri, so I don't
We
know.
won't be seeing Justin for a little while, unfortunately.
He's on maternity
The
leave.
next few weeks are going to be a little weird in the Peterson household and for the Wake Up America show, but we're doing our best. We did announce that we do have 2 new shows coming so that there will be
Right.
fewer lulls in the future on things like this.
Yep.
And we haven't made the announcement yet about who are the stars of the new
I
shows.
know the stars, but you don't know the stars.
You don't know the stars. We know the stars.
Yeah.
You don't know the stars. Our first company-wide meeting or network-wide meeting is tomorrow. So it's very exciting. Lots of exciting things going on here on the Wake Up America show. Thank you for supporting us and funding us so that we can make all these wonderful things happen and make, of course, our family's dreams come true. Are you guys ready to talk about the news?
There we go. We're ready.
I can buy myself flowers. Joe Biden referred to his vice president last night in the press conference. Take a listen. They're not hearing it yet. There's always something that happens.
Oh, the audio is not working.
Yeah, come on, just how about and there we go.
So this is
Got
the
it.
clip about the vice president.
Here it is. Yes.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
Is he assuming Trump's gender? Is he calling Trump a she?
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. I wouldn't have.
Oh God.
And then I was like, so does that mean he wants Kamala to be president?
Listen, I mean, if you're trying to make sense of this guy, you're gonna have a bad time.
America
the guy who
is a
said
nation
this.
that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
I mean, here's the thing,
my
dementia,
God.
right? They say he doesn't have Parkinson's. Who knows if we can believe him? They say he doesn't have these things, but we know that he does. He has, if not Parkinson's, he has dementia. He has this, whatever he has as a degenerative mental problem, those things don't improve, Stephanie. They don't get better.
I wouldn't think so. Well, he did make a comment at the press conference about how he has been checked out by a neurologist. He specifically was saying that multiple times.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm fine. Nobody says I have anything. And he's like, the neurologist will check me out again if they think something's wrong with me.
I just think they're lying. I think they're lying about that. Yeah, I really do. Here's a clip that shows him 50 seconds apart.
Is Putin ready to talk? I'm not ready to talk to Putin. I'm prepared to talk to any leader who wants to talk, including if Putin called me and wanted to talk.
Did you miss that?
I missed it in real time when we were actually watching, but now I saw that clip. Yeah, that's a flip-floppy statement there.
Yeah, listen to that one more time here.
Is Putin ready to talk? I'm not ready to talk to Putin. I'm prepared to talk to any leader who wants to talk, including if Putin called me and wanted to talk.
And then he went on to say he talked to Putin a long time ago. I don't think he's talked to Putin recently.
Yep. Thank you to Mighty Megatron for the $2 donation, brother. It says Alice Cooper needs to be brought up on elderly abuse.
Who's Alice Cooper?
Long story. Continue your thought.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, and then I noticed Joe Biden's filler word is anyway. I have never heard anybody else in this world ever use anyway. Well, anyway. Usually they say so, they say
He said anyway 58 times.
Oh my goodness.
Listen to this.
Look, folks, this is well, anyway, in the next debate, I'm not going to be traveling into 15 time zones a week before. Anyway, I'm catching hell from my wife for that. Anyway, it wasn't about just, anyway, read what his objective is. And anyway, but then again, they're better than a lot of other people here too. But anyway.
I think that's a good quote because it makes you wonder if he's just naturally cutting himself off because he's like, oh, I'm getting too far in the weeds here. You know, it's like an old man who's telling a story and goes on and on for an hour. And then they're like, well, anyway,
It could
I've
be
gotten
natural.
a little too,
Yeah.
too off on a tangent here. So anyway.
It could be anyway. It could be like that he does that naturally, or
Right,
that
he's just an old man telling a story.
yeah, or that could just be the coach, right? They've coached him to do
They
that.
tell him
Like
to do
whenever
that.
whenever you start to feel a little bit like you're trailing off, just say anyway and then move on to whatever the next topic is.
Right. But he also adds, look, folks, that's the other thing he says a lot,
Mhm.
as if he's about to say a statement and
He's
he
said
has
that
this
one
whole
for
idea.
years.
Oh, okay. So he's
Yeah.
been saying that for a
Look,
long
folks,
time.
yeah, that's kind of one of his like that's a Bidenism right there. Look, folks, that's what he says. Yeah.
Because he said that yesterday. And then after he said, look, folks, then he's like, well, anyway. It's like, you didn't even say your statement.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's CNN talking about Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi getting together to talk about this problem.
We are learning tonight that throughout the course of this week, as we've seen the public words from former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, we're learning that she has had a private conversation earlier this week with former President Barack Obama. They have talked about this matter. We do not know exactly the contents of that private conversation, but we do know, talking to a variety of Democrats in a news story just posted moments ago, Isaac DeVera and I talked to many Democrats who are looking to Pelosi and Obama to sort of find a way out of this infighting and crisis that has dominated the Democratic Party. Now, they have intentionally given the president his space and his time on this, but we have seen Speaker Pelosi's very carefully calibrated words. But the new information we are learning that she has had a conversation, perhaps more than one of them, with Barack Obama. Of course, this is very fraught for former President Barack Obama. He has a friendly and loyal relationship with President Biden, but it's also a searing one dating back to 2015 when he urged him not to run for president then against Hillary Clinton. That still hangs over all of this. I'm told he does not want to be too assertive. He does not want to push too much. But it is clear that many Democrats are looking to them to sort of find a way out here. We are learning tonight that
I didn't know that he discouraged him from running.
Yeah, I didn't want
I
to
wonder
run.
what the reason is for that.
Because Hillary is like the real power broker behind the scenes and a lot in the Democratic Party and
Oh,
of what's going on.
absolutely.
Which is funny. You'd think it'd be Bill Clinton, but no.
If Hillary could win this time, like let's say that she came in the place of Biden,
Don't
I
count her
wonder if
out.
she would actually be
If
able
they
to win.
cheat, if they cheat,
Because she couldn't win against Trump the last time.
You say that, but I mean, people are stupid. I've got a TikTok clip of Generation Z girls dancing and making up a little rhyme later that make you think twice about that, Stephanie.
For a woman president. I think the Democrats, they're definitely ready now.
No, God! How dare you!
Yeah, if it was Kamala or Hillary, that's tough. Kamala or Hillary, who would they choose? Eek. They might choose Hillary. That'd be a toss-up for me.
All right, that's enough. So the deal with the thing about Nancy Pelosi that's really funny, and Jimmy Fallon really nailed it on his clip, is that
It's usually very liberal. Isn't it?
yes. Well, here's the thing:
Yeah.
they're the late night hosts. They are forced now to actually cover what's happening because it's
What?
it's indisputable what's happening right now.
I like this.
Well, it's just hilarious because Joe Biden says he's not dropping out, and then Nancy Pelosi says, "Well, that decision is up to him." Well, it's like, okay, well, Jimmy Fallon actually kind of nailed it on this one. Take a listen.
When an 84-year-old Nancy Pelosi is telling an 81-year-old Joe Biden to retire. What is going on? That's right. When asked about Biden's candidacy, Nancy Pelosi said, it's up to the president to decide if he's going to run. In response to that, President Biden said, I've already decided I'm running. In response to that, Pelosi said, well, that's completely up to you. To which Biden responded, I know it is, and I'm telling you I'm running. To which Pelosi said, whatever you want, and you tell me, I will accept. To which Biden said, I told you, I'm running. To which Pelosi said, either option is okay. And to which Biden said, I understand that, and I've chosen my option. To which Pelosi said, when you're ready to share that option, I'm ready to receive that shared option. To which Biden said, I've already shared it. I feel like you want me to drop out. Which Pelosi said, it's not what I want, it's what you want, and that is to drop out. To which Biden said, that's not what I said. To which Pelosi said, you sure? And finally Biden said, honestly, no, I can't remember. So
Well, anyway.
You know, anyway.
Like, I didn't realize she's older than him. That's funny.
Ask yourself this: are there any other morning shows that are going to make you laugh, make you cry, make you pee? The Wake Up America show is it. Make sure you click that like button and follow us if you're enjoying the content.
I wish SNL was on right now during the summer because I'm picturing this scene where they have an intervention.
Well, they're
Almost as if
probably.
Joe Biden is an addict, and it's like Nancy Pelosi and all the big figures.
You
of the
gotta know
Democrats.
that like all of the Democrats at SNL, they are probably like the real comedians are like, oh my God, I wish we were in session right
For
now.
sure.
But the Democrats that are there that are just the partisan hacks are like, thank God Saturday Night Live is not in session right now because they would have to cover this stuff.
Oh, it'd be painful.
It'd be devastating. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that press conference yesterday was basically like an intervention for Joe Biden.
It was kind of the way I was looking at it is kind of like the last chance that he had, right,
Yeah.
to really do well. And I think here's the thing, and a lot of people were saying this yesterday too, like Ben Shapiro and others, is he did just well enough to justify staying in the race, but not well enough to like come roaring back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He did just enough to prove that he's not super senile.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, he really was rolling off those facts about Ukraine and Israel and
Yeah.
everything. So it's like, and he was going on and on about that stuff without a script.
Yeah.
I don't think he had a script.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of impressive. A person with real dementia, I don't think they'd be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, he does have rather encyclopedic knowledge of foreign policy.
Yes.
And
And
he
he
did.
probably knows that.
Yeah, and that's why he was strong on that because he's been in a senator since he was 29 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, back in
Aw.
1923.
It's true. People with dementia, they tend to be able to talk about old things from the past
Mhm.
very well. So
Right.
maybe that's why he was able to talk so well about foreign policy stuff.
Somebody captured the video of Joe Biden's team when he called Kamala Vice President Trump.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
You see the one
So
guy
start
with his
there.
hand on his chin.
Yeah, the one guy
It's like,
goes with his hand on his chin is just like,
oh goodness. I'm wondering, why did they start an hour late? I'm now thinking it's because the NATO meeting ran over.
Mhm.
Because at first I was like, what is going on? Is he powdering his nose? I mean, like, what is taking so long?
He had just come from another meeting or another speech that he had where he said this.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President, you are a hell of a lot better.
It's a good cover up. I guess it was a Freudian slip. We all have Freudian slips, don't we?
Stephanie, I mean, not like 10 times a minute. You know what I mean? Yes, we all
You call
do.
people by different names every second.
Sure, and you could understand that something like that if it was just like one off, like once every couple of weeks, you had something like that happen. Everybody makes mistakes.
Saying President Hitler. You know, it's like the Putin. You do not want to be called Putin.
Well, we didn't used to be. Here's the thing: we didn't used to be so focused on presidents and politicians in our culture.
Uh-huh.
When I was a kid, and growing up, like in I think high school too, we would watch videotapes of presidential bloopers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so fun.
It was. We would watch the videotapes of presidential bloopers and kind
Yeah?
of learn about them. And it was the kind of thing where there weren't as many cameras everywhere. There wasn't
no.
there wasn't as much interest in politics in the 90s and 80s as there is now.
Uh-huh.
So whenever you had a presidential blooper on tape, it was big news and it was funny. It would make back then it was like the fail army of
Right.
presidential
I know
videos.
George W. Bush Jr. He made a lot of.
Oh yeah, he had
mistakes.
a lot of verbal gaffes, and but that was when people were really starting to ramp up their interest in politics. But I remember like the George H.W. Bush, his dad's quote, where he was talking about Ronald Reagan and in his campaign because he was Reagan's VP. He was talking about like the setbacks that they had. He's like, we've had some sex, we've had some setbacks.
Oh,
and
I feel like that's an easy one. The sex thing. I think a lot of people do that one.
Instead of setbacks, we've had some sex.
Yeah. It's hard to talk off the cuff.
Yeah, but George
I
H.W. Bush,
understand.
he was also known for this move that he would pull when he would take pictures, especially when he was in a wheelchair. Because when you're in a
You
wheelchair,
said George W. Bush?
George H.W.
Oh,
Bush.
he
so
was
his
in a
dad.
wheelchair.
Yeah,
Oh.
so towards the end of his life, he was in a wheelchair. And so whenever anybody wants to take a picture with the president, which would be often, when you take pictures of people, if you put arms around them and you're standing up, then where do your hands go? On their shoulders.
Yes.
But if you're in a wheelchair, where do your hands go?
On their hips?
Well, yeah,
their butt?
their butts, right?
Oh,
Essentially.
dear.
So he had this joke, George H.W. Bush, that whenever he would take pictures of people in the wheelchair, he would grab their butt, he would go David Copperfield.
Oh, at least he used humor for that.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
presidential
goodness.
bloopers, presidential gaffes,
Yeah.
they used to be something that would happen rarely, and then they would make a compilation videotape and people would watch them and it would be a joke. Now it's every day.
Right.
You could make fail army blogs entirely devoted to Joe Biden's gaffes
Right.
and have tons of content. I mean, for the love of God, Stephanie, for the regular viewers of the Wake Up America show, the people who watch the show, I literally have had a Joe Biden gaffe on this show every
I
single day.
know. So
Every
I
single
just
day.
wonder, is it because there are more video opportunities?
That too.
Or because he's just really bad and makes a lot of gaffes?
Bit of both.
I think, yeah, it's probably a little bit of both
One
combined.
of the more shocking developments in this is that the news networks have had to actually do real journalism. Just like when we saw the Jimmy Fallon clip
Uh-huh.
of him having to do actual comedy, to make fun of the hilarious thing that's happening right in front of us. Like the CNN and news networks have had to do real journalism, and that's been one of the more exciting and interesting things that's been going on the last couple of weeks. Here's Brian Stelter on CNN.
In a way reminiscent of, frankly, the Trump era, in which they often said, don't believe the polls, don't believe what you're seeing, don't believe what you're hearing. I mean, is this risking going in that direction?
I think we are there. I think we're down that direction and we're there now. They're saying, don't believe your lying eyes, forget what you saw at the debate 2 weeks ago. And yet, President Biden has been relatively invisible. Yes, he's giving speeches here and there. He's holding the summit. He's having a press conference on Thursday. But those are just table stakes. Those are just the basics of doing the job.
President Biden?
You shouldn't treat this press conference like it's anything more than a normal part of doing the job. Although, as you pointed out, Emily, he's
And our friend,
well, he said President Biden has been not really around and doing conferences and things.
that's true.
Oh, I thought that was about Trump.
No.
Trump hasn't been around.
Well, Trump has not been doing a lot either. So Trump has actually been smart. He's been backing off and letting the Democrats make mistakes. Oh, and by the way, Somniferum, I saw your comment. Yes, thank you for reminding us that Gerald Ford, President Gerald Ford, he fell one time on camera.
Oh my
And
goodness.
Chevy Chase turned it into a whole career.
Oh.
Because back in the day, I know you don't remember this because you're too young. And
I wasn't alive.
You weren't alive. But
No.
back when I was a little boy, we would watch Saturday Night Live with the Chevy Chase and Bill Murray and like the greats.
Chevy Chase.
But Chevy Chase did a whole comedy bit of where he was pretending to be Gerald Ford, stumbling and bumbling all over everything.
Now Joe Biden falls every day.
I know, and nobody on SNL has yet to make a career out of that yet. So, but Joe Biden had an excuse for why he has been stumbling and bumbling at the press conference.
He told about
Yeah,
it.
here it is. Here it is.
I love my staff, but they add things. Add things all the time. At the very end. I'm catching hell from my wife. Anyway, I love my staff.
The other thing he kept doing was he kept whispering. When he would say things, he was whispering in his microphone at the press conference. It was creepy.
Yes, yeah. He started. He was starting to whisper. Right.
Yeah.
I love my staff, but they add things. Right.
I mean, isn't he the boss of his staff? You've been in politics. It's like, can't you say no to your staff?
Yes. Nice to see. It looks like we got featured on rumble.com. So we got a bunch of new people joining us. Hey, guys.
Welcome.
How's it going? Welcome to the show. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching the Wake Up America show. And this show streams live every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. We're a Liberty show. This is my wife, Stephanie Peterson. How you
Hello.
doing, Steffi? What's up?
I am doing very well. I love talking about political drama.
Yeah, Steffi is 9 months pregnant. And
You may not be able to tell.
So, yeah, you might not be able to tell because she's so tiny. And we call this Freedom Family Friday. That's when I bring my family on the show. My brother Justin usually joins us, but he's traveling and doing stuff, so he won't be here with us. Sorry about that. But if you like the content today, don't forget to click the follow button on the channel. We'd love to have you come back and be a regular guest. We like to say this show is all about silly shirts, but serious coverage. So we're talking obviously about Joe Biden's. press conference last night and the Democrat Party being in chaos, and a little bit about some of his gaffes. We just played the clip. I'm going to play it one more time, where after Joe Biden had gotten the question about being able to do the job. It's a 24-hour-a-day job.
It is.
Why is it, that we should expect that he should be able to do the job if he had told Democratic governors that he needs to go to bed earlier?
He was questioned about that too, about how he said he needs to go to bed at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
He said that is not true.
Yeah, well, he said, oh, we'll just need to start the fundraisers a little bit earlier, right?
Started
Yes.
at 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock, so we get done at 10 o'clock. He's basically saying it's better for everybody.
Yeah,
We get done earlier.
And he was saying, because George Clooney called him out in an op-ed saying that he should step down. And they fired back at George Clooney and said, well, the fundraiser that we did a few weeks ago, George Clooney left 3 hours before Joe Biden did. It's like, and that's supposed to be like, oh, hey,
Right. Well,
you
he had
gotcha.
a good time. He had to go to sleep. Look at Joe. He was still awake.
You got us there.
It's just saying, I need to pace myself.
Yes.
He's like, all that other stuff, that's just rumors. That's false. I just need to pace myself better.
Well, maybe that's true, but still,
We need to pace ourselves. We all have to set boundaries in our life.
we have a new guest on the show who just commented. I love seeing new names in the chat. Informative Q says that the whispering is not creepy; it's senile, demented. Good point. But he also, I think he made this joke.
People, they're like, come here, little girl.
I think he was kind of ripping on some of our super chatter or like Rumble ranters, because he said when people go to all the trouble of figuring out how to donate and then donate $1.99 like they're buying half a pack of gum at the 7-Eleven. That's funny. But we do. But listen, hey, don't let Informative Q get you down. Hey, we appreciate
People to donate 60 cents yesterday.
Yeah, no, we appreciate every penny that's donated to the Wake Up America show. We are grateful for. Without you guys, those donations add up for sure. So thank you.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You know, not everybody has a lot of money, and that's totally
true.
understandable.
Exactly.
We don't have a huge amount of money.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing. So Joe Biden says, this is his response to being asked, could he do this a 24-hour-a-day job?
I love my staff, but they add things all the time. At the very end, I'm catching hell from my wife for that. Anyway.
Oh boy.
So
It's cutting into their intimate time.
part of the
him and
part of the
Jill.
conversation that's going on right now is, the inner circle of people that are around Joe Biden that are, I won't say coercing, but urging him to stay in and not to step down and not to
who are
step
these
aside.
people?
It's his family. It's Jill Biden. It's Jill Biden and it's Hunter Biden.
Ugh.
And here's the thing. Let's talk about these two characters here one at a time. So Jill Biden is relevant now for the first time in her life.
Yeah.
Right, Jill
Was
Biden.
she ever a main character at all?
And I'm pretty sure she was actually the subject of an affair from his last wife. Like these politicians.
Oh, he cheated on his last wife with her.
With her.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
he was married before.
Yeah,
Oh,
and if you think that's a
interesting.
sordid, if you
Okay.
think that's a sordid tale, you should look into Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s ex-wife who committed suicide. It's another one that's pretty nasty.
Oh, yes. I did
politicians-
learn about that
These
recently.
politicians are just their personal lives are always like the most deplorable thing you could ever imagine.
Mhm.
And it's when it comes to Joe Biden's wife Jill, she now is more in a position of authority. She has more power over Joe now than she's ever had because he is semi-incapacitated.
I'm assuming she's a lot younger than him.
Well, she's young enough to be able to exert authority over him. And if he steps aside, she becomes irrelevant overnight, immediately, because of course, no power, no president, no first lady.
Oh, of course.
Okay. And then there is the Hunter Biden question. Now,
Ugh.
I wrote a piece this last week on AMP America about how Hunter Biden has been spotted in high-level briefings with Joe Biden and has been acting as a gatekeeper to the president,
Oh, goodness.
preventing aides from getting access to Joe Biden and urging his father to stay in the race. Now, why would Hunter do something like that?
Yeah,
Hunter,
why does he want
he
that?
is a recent felon. He's a recently convicted felon. Now, his dad has said that he will not be pardoning his son Hunter Biden, but I think
Really?
he's a liar, and I think that Hunter Hunter Biden is urging his father to stay in this race so that in his second term, when it doesn't matter what Joe Biden does, because he's not going to run for re-election, he can get his son the pardon that Hunter Biden is pushing for. I mean, we're talking about real, like, this is kind of Soviet era apparatchik kind of like power mongering going on behind the scenes. Do you remember that movie we saw, Death of Stalin? We watched it like a year or two ago.
Oh, is it where that whole family was killed?
No, well,
oh.
I don't remember if they did the Romanov family.
Quite a few.
I always am trying to like introduce my wife
Stalin
to like
and people
history
dying.
things. Okay, well, but it was the comedy about Joe Stalin.
Oh, a comedy.
Dying and all of the power struggles that were going on and the people surrounding him after he had died to take over the Soviet Union. And we're in a situation right now very similar to that, except Stalin isn't dead yet. It's Joe Biden. He's walking dead. And now we see all of the jockeying for power that's happening, not just in his own political circle, his political family, but the people who are outside him. Here's the thing. The George Clooney op-ed, Barack Obama knew that was going to happen before it dropped.
Oh, really?
He could have talked George Clooney out of that. Okay, and he didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah, he could have talked.
Well, Obama didn't want Joe to become president in the first place. Apparently, what you said earlier.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Obama is just like, yeah, I never wanted this to happen. In the first place.
Yeah, he wanted Joe Biden to step aside. Barack Obama wanted Joe Biden to step aside for Hillary.
Oh, yes.
Right. So we've got over 1,000 people watching us live on rumble.com now.
Welcome,
up, guys.
They
Welcome.
like talking about Joe.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a huge story. It's a huge
Yes.
story. But when the president says things like this, let's pull the clip back up again.
I love my staff, but they add things all the time. At the very end, I'm catching hell from my wife for that. Anyway.
So is she saying you shouldn't do so many events?
Yeah,
Maybe that's why she's
probably.
giving him hell.
He's catching hell from his wife because the staff keeps adding new items to his itinerary, which is what their job is. That's what they're supposed to do, right? The presidency is a 24-hour job day. It's not a part-time job.
No,
it is a full-time job. It is the kind of thing when Peter Doocy asked the question the other day. Did you see the clip that I played where Doocy asked Joe Biden about what they would do if there was a nuke that got launched at 11 p.m.? Did you see
what
that
the
one?
response was, but it certainly sounds familiar. Yeah, it's like, what would he do if he really had to do his job 24 hours a day?
Yes. So Joe Biden, Karine Jean-Pierre, was asked by Peter Doocy at Fox about about what Joe Biden would do, what would happen in the White House, because Joe Biden can't work past like 8 p.m.
Right. Or at least that was.
I found the clip.
What the false thing was, he claims.
Here it is.
He's sharpest before 8 p.m. So, say that the Pentagon at some point picks up an incoming nuke. It's 11 p.m. Who do you call? The First Lady?
See?
Are you guys just not, since February, testing President Biden for Parkinson's or for dementia? Because if he gets a bad result, it's all over that day.
Geez.
I was thinking about he still has the power to press the nuclear bomb button, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's still got the nuclear footballs.
He has a confusing moment, and he's like, "Hey, let's go nuke President."
So that guy.
What?
So Steffi, so that reporter, he was there at that NATO press conference last night, and that's who I was talking about when I said they didn't ask him to ask any questions, because those are the type of questions that he would have asked the president. Mm-hmm.
Says it's fixed in terms of who they call on.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so most people do have a list. It's not that he was one of the only people to have this list of who to call on. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Now, not all Democrats are jumping on board the eject Joe Biden train. Some of them are still trying to bail out the rapidly sinking vessel. Take a listen to this on MSNBC yesterday.
And you're saying that Joe Biden is not fit to run for office and therefore should not be in office in January. You're saying he's also not fit to be president right now. What the hell are you doing? You are going. That is what you're saying, because you're telling voters that he does not have the chops to be president for the next 4 years, starting in January.
Okay.
If you're
Okay, pause right there.
I'm
Real quick.
curious what that woman is trying to say.
Yeah, so he made some good points there. It looks like one of our new guests is they're getting cleverer, Stephanie, because they're buying Rumble Rants. They're supporting the show with their donations
Okay.
in order to get their ads into the show,
Oh,
which is
okay.
actually brilliant, and I applaud them for that.
Yeah, that's fine. You can pay for ads.
So A1ZEN. So A1Zen is
Aizen.
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 Okay.
Asian.
Asian. Good one, Steffi. You figured it out. Asian.
I'm good at puzzles.
Very good, Steph. See, she got me on that one. He said, follow at Will to Power on TikTok for bold MAGA content exposing cognitive dissonance and Trump derangement syndrome. Join daily live debates, engage in political discussions, and stay informed. Well, thank you, Asian.
It's fun.
Yes, it does sound fun. And thank you for the Rumble
Did
rant.
they donate $1.99?
Hell no,
Like
they
they're paying for
donated
a pack of
$20.
gum?
You know I was going to read
okay.
that. You know what I mean? Dollar makes you holla, but $20. Hey, I'm not.
I think we got to the dock amount of money that we need. Didn't we,
not quite
at this
yet.
point?
Yeah, I'm
we
not.
need $60
Yeah, I'm not,
total.
I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. You know what I'm saying?
We'll do just about anything.
No. Let's see where we're at. 10, 20, 32, 33, 30, $34 towards the $60 goal. Yes. So if you want
for the new people.
tell them real quick, because a lot of the people who are watching, there's over 1,000 on Rumble.
Wow.
Tell them what we do each day with our bonus content.
So every day, you personally make a documentary that only can be viewed by the audience if they raise $60.
Mm-hmm.
How do you raise $60, you may ask? Well, you can send rants on Rumble.
Just like you did.
You can go to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support.
Mhm.
That's another way to send donations to us. Or you can check out our store, forlibertyshop.com, and you can buy a wide variety of our products. We actually have new stickers and we have bundles available. You can buy 2 and get 3 free. We also have new koozies.
Mm-hmm. We've got a whole
We
lot
have a
of
whole
awesome
koozie
deals.
bundle pack going on as well.
Mm-hmm. So you can get an awesome deal, like buy over at forlibertyshop.com on some really cool stickers and koozies. The koozies is buy 2, get 3 for $1.
3 free.
Yeah, no, I think the koozies are 3 for $1,
and the stickers are the 3 free ones.
The stickers are 3
yes.
free ones. So if you buy 2 stickers, you get 3 stickers for free.
Yes.
And we've got a whole bunch of stickers.
We have Buck Biden stickers, so if you don't like Biden.
We've got Reagan in the streets, Kennedy in the sheets, which I think is pretty funny.
We do.
So check those out at forlibertyshop.com.
Lots of Trump stickers as well. Yeah, we have lots of Trump merch.
Yeah, real quick, I'll just pull it up on the screen so people can see it. So there we go. Stickers. Buy any 2, get 3 free. We've got Taxes Are Gay, How to Spot a Communist, Less Marx, More Millet, Enjoy Liberty, Rebel Scum, Legends, Javier Milei, Afuera, just a million billion stickers. And again, if you buy any 2 stickers, then you get 3 for free. Clarence Thomas, the lightning bolt of justice. Yes. Summer koozies, buy 2, get 3 for $1 each. My pronouns are we the people. 4.7 beers ago. So, anyways, all right. So, thank you.
We raise money for the doc.
Yeah. So if we make at least $60 today in rants and in purchases at the shop, then you'll unlock our bonus content today, which is always fun. This week's theme is Supreme Court decisions that changed history. So if you'd like to see today's mini documentary, then get those Rumble rants in. Keep them coming. Even if they're ads like that, if you give us $20 for an ad, we'll definitely read it. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, there we go. What happened?
So anyway, we were talking about the news people, that lady, she was trying to say, or they were trying to say, so if you're saying he's not fit in 4 years, he's not fit now.
Yes. Oh, I forgot one more thing real quick, Steffi, before we go ahead, continue.
So I was wondering what that lady was trying to say, but I kind of agree. I think at this very moment in time, the small little piece of time, Biden probably is fit, but very temporarily. Because just imagine it, 4 years from now, he's probably going to decline. I mean, we're all declining as we age naturally.
Well, here's the thing. So let's go back to that clip of that Democrat rep Jim Himes. I want to hear what he says one more time. Let's react to it, and then I want to talk about the meat of his statement.
If you're standing up, if you're a Democrat right now and you're standing up and you're saying that Joe Biden is not fit to run for office and therefore should not be in office in January, you're saying he's also not fit to be president right now.
Pause. Completely correct.
So he's saying, what's the difference between now and January?
Yeah, and George Stephanopoulos, remember the interview you did last week?
They saw him on the street.
And what did he say when they were on the street?
He didn't think he should be president.
He can't serve 4 more years.
Yes.
Yeah. He had to apologize. He's in deep doo-doo over there at ABC for making that comment off the cuff, by the way.
Yeah, that Stephanopoulos, that interview, that didn't go very well either.
Yeah, yeah. And, now the polls post that interview and post the debate have been showing that Trump has been gaining in swing states. I even read in Politico the other day that apparently New York State is becoming competitive.
Oh boy.
That there is a district in New York where Trump is up by 1, and that statewide that Biden only has an 8-point lead over Biden in the state of New York. So an 8-point lead, we're in a state where it's 2-1 Democrat to Republican.
Oh, yeah.
It should be a far bigger spread between Trump and Biden than 8 points.
They just have no other choice. I'm really shocked they're not going for RFK, to be quite honest.
Well, the libertarians are. Have you noticed?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the libertarians have been trying. They tried in Colorado. They tried and failed.
I thought he was put on the ballot in Colorado.
So Karen Ann Harlos with the pink hair?
Yeah.
Karen actually hornswoggled him. And because she's the secretary of the Colorado LP, she's legally allowed to sign at the Secretary of State's office for their candidate. So before the chair of the party could go to the state Secretary of State, Karen Harlos went to, I know this is like political intrigue like you would not believe. Karen Harlos went to the Secretary of State's office in Colorado and used her authority as a secretary to put their candidate, Chase Oliver, on the ballot. It was kind of like, oh my God. Yeah.
People are probably mad at her.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Chase Oliver is the elected libertarian candidate at their convention. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. didn't win the nomination at the convention.
No, he didn't.
But the chair and then a group of people there were so upset at Chase Oliver's nomination, they tried to put Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on the ballot, but they weren't savvy enough to outfox Karen Harlos.
Oh boy, watch out for that pink hair, you guys.
She's
pink-haired women are scary.
Yeah. So thanks to everybody who's tuning into the Wake Up America show. We love to watch all of our friends coming and joining us. We've got so many regular friends, and then now with being on the front page, 1,100 people joining us live. I can imagine that for most of you, it's the first time you've ever seen our faces. You have no idea who we are, but we're hoping to earn your like and your follow here on this channel so that you can come back and join us on this show 5 days a week. We stream the Wake Up America show, as you can see, 5 days a week. 2 hours in the morning. It's a really high energy Liberty talk show where we go through all the news and react to all the political news of the day. Sometimes we talk about cultural issues and social issues, and sometimes we're just goofing off talking about life, universe, and whatever. So if you're enjoying the content today, we'd love to have you be a regular guest. Make sure that you click the follow button before you leave today. The show's channel is actually rumble.com/AP for Liberty. So I don't want you to be confused and not be able to find us on Monday. Make sure that you click that follow button now on the feed so that you'll be able to join us, because the Wake Up America show is a 5-day-a-week experience, and we have a blast here. For all of those regulars in the comments section, when you see new names and you see new faces in the chat, please introduce yourselves and make them feel welcome. We really try and foster a positive, friendly environment. In politics, most of the communities that you'll find, especially on live streams, are very negative, very hateful, very dark energy. But we prefer to kind of take like a brighter, more optimistic view of the world, despite the fact that it's collapsing all around us. We're building an iron dome, if you will, of liberty and of normality and of conservative and libertarianism here on the Wake Up America show. So if you'd like to be around a bunch of people who like to have a lot of fun and who can laugh at all of the things that are happening on a regular basis, you're in the right place. Join the Wake Up America show 5 days a week. Today's Freedom Family Friday. My wife Stephanie's here on the show. She's She is heavy with child.
I'm almost 38 weeks pregnant.
Yes. So we will be having a baby very soon. Our very first baby coming soon.
Yes, by August.
Yes.
August 1st is the eviction date.
And
if she
Stephanie's
does not show
and I'm
herself
like anxious
sooner.
and ready and excited and like, let's go, let's go. And Stephanie's more like this.
Do not come. Do not come.
And I'm like,
I'm going to come.
Well, you already did, clearly. Sorry.
What did you say?
Not PG.
I'm still a virgin. It was in vitro. We have a lot of fun here on this show, and we'd be glad to have you make friends and hang out. So make sure that you drop your comment there in the chat. Introduce yourself to the gang here. We're all friends, and we'd love to have you be a regular guest. Go ahead,
So I'm
Steph.
thinking about Trump right now. Now that we're saying that the Democrats are starting to look towards him, I wonder if it would be in his best interest to cater more to the Democrats and show them, hey, this is why you should support me. Do you think maybe making more efforts like that, like having rallies for Democrats and sharing some of his viewpoints that they might like, that would make them feel even more comfortable?
I mean, there's a big
Is this his chance to really try to bring them in as well?
Well, there's a big controversy right now about this whole Project 2025 thing that was put out by the
Oh, and
Heritage
everyone's
Foundation.
freaked out about
Well,
it.
you know why? Well, it's because I'm reading this right. I'm getting a little bit of back channel information. Apparently, the Democrats' attacks using Project 2025 are working. So it's effective. And the conservatives are mad at Donald Trump. He didn't write it. He didn't have anything to do with it.
He claimed he didn't know anything about it.
He didn't. And so the situation is that probably Donald Trump had access to better back channels than I do, and knew that this Project 2025 thing was kind of a millstone around his electoral chances, and just said he didn't write it, he didn't have anything to do with it. But like conservatives who are already, a lot of the never Trumpers and conservatives who are already mad at him for beating DeSantis in the primary, they were livid at him for not jumping on board with this, even though he didn't write it. He didn't have anything to do with creating it, but they're mad at him because it has a lot of conservative priorities in it. But he had his own platform. He had his own thing, his own priorities. And of course, he is not the hardline pro-lifer that many of them are.
No, which that really shocked me.
Mhm.
Honestly, I didn't know he was okay with making exceptions for rape, incest, and medical reasons.
Right.
For
yes.
abortion.
But he's always been that way. And so pro-lifers shouldn't be surprised about it. And I was talking to a friend of ours, Carrie Sloan, yesterday. She's pro-life. She's got pro-lifers mad at her. And I have to remind her that, like, don't forget in politics, there are groups of people, we call them special interests, and they are professionally angry. So they are paid to be angry and outraged all the time, right? I call
What a
it
life.
Well, there's pro-life, and then there's pro-life Inc. Right? There's conservatism, and then there's Con Inc. Right? There are people who are paid to be professionally angry about issues, and those are called the special interests. So for some people, and they can say they're ideologues or what have you, or say it's bound in principle, and I don't doubt that for many of them. But for some, it's really about, well, God, if we actually do get rid of abortion, then how are we going to pull a paycheck because we raise money based on the outrage that we generate from this, right?
Right. What will they be mad at
Right.
next?
That's pro-life Inc. So what they do is they're searching constantly for heresy. It's like it's like they're always running the Inquisition.
Yeah, sure.
Right? It's always like, we're looking for heretics and we'll punish the heretics. And a large portion of these people are like never Trumpers who are conservatives that are mad that either he beat the neocons and Trump has ejected the neocons from the party, or that he is not the hardline Christian that many of these evangelicals would like to see.
I think the Democrats might like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Donald Trump has said, he said recently in an interview, he says that you got to get elected. He's like, you can't save babies' lives if you don't get elected. And at the end of the day, he needs to get elected. And it's like,
He's really showing he's into compromise.
Yeah.
Especially after going to the Libertarian Party convention.
I know.
He was like, look, I'm trying to put myself out there and talk to everybody. I'm not closing myself off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great conversation. The ladies of The View had something to say about Joe Biden's performance yesterday. This is how they're feeling about the Democrats.
Dismiss it. This is a real
I
conversation.
think it's a good idea for us to be talking
You
about
just
it.
said
We're
it.
not like them. We don't close the door.
And we also don't follow.
We have
you
John.
said.
We're not
She's
like
not
them.
like who? Who's
Joy
them?
Behar is saying not like us, Republicans and libertarians and
Oh,
conservatives,
we
right?
don't close the door.
We don't close the door to
Are you
debate and
sure,
conversation.
Joy?
Yeah, are you
You've
sure about
closed the
this?
door on a lot of people
Yeah,
before on your
yeah.
show.
Well, it's like Joy Behar has even said on her show before that she's like, I feel like I shouldn't talk bad about Joe Biden because it's going to help Trump, blah, 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 right? It's like, Bill, let's start this clip over because the BS was already laid on thick. Let's continue.
Dismiss it. This is a real I think conversation. it's a good idea for us to be talking
You
about
just
it.
said
We're
it.
not like them. We don't close the door.
And we also don't fall in
We
line.
have
You
John
said it.
Fetterman on,
Wait
not
one
just the,
second. You said
the
in a
others.
commercial, you said no one knows what's going to happen.
Yes.
We're all just giving it our best guess. That's why I would love for people within Biden's support to bring down the temperature on those of us who are also raising the flag for the same reason with a different idea.
Yeah.
Because everyone is saying, I'm saying that people that think that it's serious, and there are a lot of people speaking up, like myself, a lot of people shut us down with it was one bad night, shut up and fall in line.
Okay.
That is what Republicans do.
Yeah.
As a Democrat, well, actually, as an independent who votes Democrat mostly, I'm ashamed that they're telling us to put our head down and shut up.
That's how you
I think
know.
it's disgusting.
That's how you know, like, when somebody says they're independent, like,
Democrat. As an independent who votes Democrat,
Right.
mostly, you're basically a Democrat.
right, yeah, no, whenever somebody says like they're an independent, it's like somebody told me the other day, and it made good sense, that an independent is really just a Republican in a blue state or a Democrat in a red state. Like they're just cowards who are afraid to say what they really are.
Myself an independent because I go between libertarian candidates and Republican candidates.
Right.
I haven't voted for a Democrat since Barack Obama in 2008. Sorry. That was a bad time for me.
Oh God, I'm gonna puke. All right,
Yeah.
hold on just one
I call myself an independent sometimes.
All right, hold on just one second. I got to say a big shout out to our friends over at Rumble. I mean, they put us on the front page today. We are so grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rumble, which gives us the chance to talk to thousands of people about Rumble's new store. Have you seen my beautiful Rumble hat that I wear now, Stephanie?
You
The one that
wear
says
it all the
Rumble?
time.
I know, and people around town love it. When I go to my Republican meetings in town, you know, the senior citizens are like, I like Rumble. But
Yeah.
they've now got their own apparel shop. They're offering a 20% discount off all their purchases in the Rumble store, and they've got a discount code that you can use, DROP20, DROP 20. If you want to support the brand Rumble that's fighting for free speech, allowing people like us, not Joy Behar, to have free speech. If you're all about the First Amendment, then supporting Rumble through their store is one of the best ways to do it. If you want to support the brand, head over to rumble.store and use that code DROP20. They've got tees, sweaters, hats, and more. Go to rumble.store. This is kind of a new URL thing that they got going on. Make sure to enter DROP20 as the promo code to get 20% off your entire order. Thank you to Rumble and rumble.store. We appreciate you guys,
Wow.
especially for the live reads.
Honestly, when I see you wearing the Rumble hat, I'm like, people probably think you're like this celebrity. No, when you're wearing something like that, people wonder, are you somebody special?
Yeah, well, I've always kind of had that celebrity air about me anyways. You know
You
what's
do.
funny?
You
And-
have to have a certain look if you have it.
Well, when you wear this shirt, it's kind of like you're going to get looked at and made fun of.
Talking about that recently to you, actually, is that because we were at Lake of the Ozarks recently, and I was looking at the musicians that were about to play, and I was like, it's all about the look.
Yes.
If you look the part, people are going to think that you have something special to share.
It's true. It's
They're
true.
going to assume that you're cool.
Well, what's funny is that, and like, you know, I talk about life on the D list,
Mhm.
is that like whenever we go out somewhere, you're always like, you're going to get recognized,
And
right?
you do.
And then it always does happen. I'm always like,
Yeah.
no, and then it always does happen, right?
Oh, absolutely.
like we were like walked into McDonald's like last week, and a guy walking up, I was like,
Yes.
AP, you know, what's up?
Yes,
But it
yes.
did help that I was the radio show host for like 3 years here.
Right. So a lot of people do remember you from your radio days.
Right. So if I moved to like Oklahoma or something
Right.
like that, or like California, that would not be happening.
Or local celebrities. And actually, our
Exactly.
dog Kelvin is a celebrity too. He used to get recognized on the street when
It's
we were
true.
walking him.
It's true. With
Mhm.
1,400 people joining us live on rumble.com, I have to say again, thank you guys. It's awesome to see such a huge audience. We are blessed. And
It's huge.
despite what you just heard us talking about right there, we actually are very humble, and we appreciate all of our guests who are joining us live right now. I know that for many of you, you're watching us for the first time. And if you are having fun hanging out with us, we'd love to have you join us again regularly. So do click the like button to show your support, and click the follow button as well so that you'll get updates when we go live, which is Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. Stephanie, the former press secretary under Barack Obama, Jen Psaki, was on MSNBC yesterday yesterday, she was talking. She was asked the question of what's the plan for Joe Biden and his staff moving forward.
Good question.
House and the campaign ready for this moment, which is news is breaking every hour about the president and about your campaign. Are they ready for this? Because the last 3 years, I don't want to say have been easy because they're never easy, I know, but they've been nothing like this.
It's so interesting. It's an interesting question because it's like, what does it mean to be ready for it, right? I mean, they have to be. They don't really have another choice. I think that the question is, what is the plan moving forward? And I think 99% of them don't know the answer to that question, right? For all intents and purposes, if you're on the campaign in the White House, Joe Biden has said he's running. He's going to stick it out as the nominee. That is what you were planning to do. Is that what the result ends up being? I don't think we know the answer to that yet.
Have you been surprised how many leaks there have been in the last 2 weeks?
Yes, very surprised. It was not a leaky White House when I was there. And that shows you the frustration and disappointment and anger, which is
and maybe concern.
And maybe concern.
Is the
man.
So she's not convinced he'll stay in.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely like one of the most prominent Democrats in the country right now.
Yeah.
Barack Obama's press secretary.
I don't know. I think if he does drop out, it won't be super publicly in front of a lot of people. I feel like one day it's like there'll be an announcement that he had some medical emergency and he's not able to continue.
So this is one of the
It would be too embarrassing for him to get up in front of people and just be like, I'm done.
Yeah, this is one of the Democrats who called for Joe Biden to step aside.
Reality is, and I'm far from the only Democrat who believes this, that the numbers, the trajectory, what Americans feel in their bones right now suggest not only that Joe Biden would lose this race, but that he or we would lose the Senate and the House. And the stakes are so high that we need to set aside that loyalty and that poetry and that romance and the charge of the Light Brigade, and we all go down together in favor of some really hard-nosed analysis.
Yeah.
Now, why would they lose the House and the Senate? Are there candidates?
Well,
are the Democratic candidates not doing well in those races
That's a great
as
question.
well?
That's a great question, Stephanie. And there's this thing called helping the down ballot or hurting the down ballot.
Okay, I've never heard of this concept.
So if you have a presidential candidate who doesn't inspire people to turn out to vote for them, then those voters who would vote Democrat down the ballot
there you go.
are going to have fewer voters.
So they're not going to show up to vote for the House and Senate candidates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Our friend Agora Greg over there says donates $3. Thank you,
Thank
Agora
you.
Greg. Said it asked our listeners to visit the Lincoln County LP booth at the fair today or tomorrow. Enter to win Gadsden flag wall art or delicious meat gift certificate from Brown's Processing. Lincoln County, what state, brother?
Is that in Missouri?
There's a Lincoln County in almost every state. So let us know where you're at, Agora Greg. We appreciate that. And thank you for the Rumble rant. I think we're getting a little bit closer now towards unlocking today's mini documentary, which I would love to show you guys. We've raised 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 46%, $48 towards a $60 goal. Nice.
We're almost there. I mean, we literally have $12 more to go.
Yes, and if you make purchases at our forlibertyshop.com store, then those also count towards the total. We've got a big sale going on summer koozies. If you buy 2, you get 3 for $1 each. I love this Reagan in the streets, Kennedy in the sheets koozie. So make sure you check those out. Some of these are really spicy. My pronouns are we the people. What's his name? The mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. Glenn Jacobs. He bought this on a pillow. We've got this on a pillow in the shop. So
with it.
yes, Agora Greg reminds us it is Lincoln County in Missouri. Yes, of course.
All right.
Thank you.
Is that close to where we are?
In mid-Missouri, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, but I have to jog my memory here. I'm have a Biden brain at the moment.
Anyway.
Well, anyway.
What I'm going to do from now on, if I lose my train of thought, I'll just do the Biden.
Do the Biden. There you go.
Look, folks.
Yes.
Well, anyway, that's excusable.
Joe Biden revealed who he's taking advice from.
I'm following the advice of my commander-in-chief, the chief of staff of the military, as well as the Secretary of Defense and our intelligence people.
Well, he is the commander-in-chief.
Right. So Freudian slip, right?
Yeah, he was just trying to say all the chief people.
A Freudian, you know what a Freudian slip is, right, Steph?
Yeah, where it's like you actually say something else that you're really thinking about and really meaning.
So when he says, I'm following the advice of my commander in chief, if it's a Freudian slip, he's
That's
suggesting
his
that
wife.
it's Jill Biden.
I think so.
It's somebody else
Right.
who's in
He
charge.
has a commander in chief. It is not him.
Yeah.
He's not identifying as
Somebody
that.
else is in charge
Correct.
over there. And that's been the accusation for quite some time, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see how his son, oh my goodness, his son is an addict.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why would you ever take advice from your son?
Yeah, because he says he's the smartest person he knows.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, goodness.
Floby Tenderson just unlocked the bonus content. Thanks, Floby.
Thank you.
Floby's always been so good to us.
Oh, he has. Yeah, he's been a long-time viewer.
He says that he's got his own e-commerce shop. He said we're getting all the ads today. Ladies, visit the whitehangerboutique.com.
Oh, his wife's shop.
That's right. Yes, it's got some nice stuff there. No liftism there. Support a Liberty lady-owned business. Unleash the doc. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, guys. Since you unlocked the bonus content, we're going to go ahead and go to a brief little break, but it's only a break for us because you guys get to continue to watch the awesome mini documentary that I've produced for you about Supreme Court decisions that changed the outcome of history, and my lovely wife, Steffi, can go take a quick little pee break. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com.
Includes the Wake Up America show's series on Supreme Court decisions that changed history. Let's look back in time at Plessy v. Ferguson, the separate but equal doctrine. Plessy v. Ferguson was a landmark 1896 Supreme Court decision that upheld racial segregation under the separate but equal doctrine. This case arose when African-American Homer Plessy refused to sit in a segregated train car, leading to his arrest and legal battle. Plessy argued that segregation violated his constitutional rights, but the Supreme Court disagreed. The court ruled that laws implying a legal distinction between races were not unconstitutional, thus validating the segregation laws known as Jim Crow laws. After the Compromise of 1877 ended Reconstruction, white supremacy regained control in Southern legislatures. Although black people initially hoped for equality under the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, these promises quickly faded as new segregation laws emerged. In the 1880s, Southern states began passing laws requiring separate railroad cars for black and white passengers. Florida was the first state to mandate this in 1887, followed by Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, and others. In response to these new laws, the black community in New Orleans decided to resist. Central to this resistance was a Louisiana law mandating separate but equal railway carriages for white and black passengers, which prompted the legal challenge. Homer Plessy, who was of mixed race, agreed to challenge this law. On June 7, 1892, he bought a ticket for a whites-only train car and refused to leave, leading to his arrest and subsequent legal battle. After being convicted in a New Orleans court, Plessy filed a petition against Judge John H. Ferguson, arguing that the segregation law violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. By 1896, segregation and black disenfranchisement were deeply entrenched. On May 18, 1896, the Supreme Court ruled that separate but equal facilities on interstate railroads were constitutional, restricting the 14th Amendment's protections to political and civil rights, not social rights. The court argued that segregated facilities were not inherently inferior. Justice Henry Brown stated that any perceived inferiority of segregated facilities was a result of the black community's interpretation, not the law itself. Justice John Marshall Harlan was the lone dissenter. A former slaveholder who had changed his views, Harlan argued that segregation was inconsistent with equality under the law and represented a form of servitude. Harlan's dissent highlighted the contradiction between segregation and constitutional equality. He insisted that the separation of races on public highways was a badge of servitude and could not be justified legally. The Plessy v. Ferguson verdict entrenched the separate but equal doctrine, legitimizing the Jim Crow laws that segregated public facilities like buses, hotels, theaters, pools, and schools for decades. In 1899, even Harlan seemed to accept segregated public schools as constitutional. It wasn't until the 1954 Brown v. Board of Education case that the Supreme Court reversed its stance. Chief Justice Earl Warren, writing the majority opinion in Brown v. Board of Education, declared that separate but equal had no place in public education because segregated schools were inherently unequal. The Brown decision recognized that segregated schools violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, effectively overturning the Plessy v. Ferguson ruling and setting the stage for the civil rights movement.
My goodness.
Welcome back to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson. Let's rise and freedom. We were just celebrating the fact that Rumble Studio is so good to us. Hi, Steffi. How you doing?
I'm wonderful.
You look kind of cute.
Thank you.
Steffi, can we get a baby bump update real quick? I think that the
Sure.
listeners, especially the fans, the ladies, would like to see where we're at because we're now
Sure.
9 months pregnant. She's now fully formed, so there's no preemie fears
Yeah,
anymore.
she even has fat. on
Yeah,
her
she
little,
got
little rolls.
we saw her ultrasound and she had the chub rolls yesterday.
Can
Hold on.
they
let me-
see me?
Yeah,
Am I in the
yes,
camera?
you're on the camera now.
Oh, Beth?
Yes, there she is. Beautiful. Got that baby bump. We got that baby bump. She is big. Now she is.
She's at least 6 pounds 11 ounces as of a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, now you're a little lady, and so it's kind of a surprise to some of the doctors that you are, well,
Yes.
so heavy with child.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I was 115 pounds before I started, and I've gained at least 25 to 30 pounds. So hard to believe.
I've got a picture of the sonogram, the 3D image up on the screen right now of baby Hazel that we took yesterday. And she's got my nose for sure.
She does. And I'm sorry, ladies. I know that upsets you all.
That the little girls look like their daddy.
Yes. Yeah. Women are just so upset by that.
I'm so excited to meet her, man. I'm just like, sometimes, because first of all, I love my pregnant wife. Like, as she
I
is.
know, you said you'll miss me
I'm
being
gonna
pregnant.
I'm gonna miss Stephanie being pregnant, so I'm gonna try and get you
I'll
pregnant.
miss me too.
So don't worry, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get you pregnant as soon as possible after it's
Thank you.
over, right?
Yeah, the doctors keep asking us about birth control. We're like,
Right now.
you know, we're just natural.
Yeah, no birth control, please. But whenever you leave the room, I'm like, can you leave baby Hazel here? Like, I want to hang out with Hazel, right? She's like
I
in the
know.
room, so it's like you're kind of hogging her all to yourself, is how I feel at this point.
I'm going to be like the least clingy mother. I know some women get very possessive of their babies, that whole mama
Mhm.
bear instinct. Maybe I will get like that. Who knows? But it's like, I would love to share.
Mhm.
I think a child having a relationship with a father is so special.
Mhm.
And it's something I absolutely want to see.
Hazel's mom has got it going on.
Yes,
Hazel's
because
mom.
we know what happens with girls who have daddy issues.
Yeah, we're not going to worry about that. Like, my whole life goal will be to keep my daughter off the pole and off of OnlyFans.
That's right. But she will be on
How
Rumble.
dare you?
She can be on Rumble.
She can be on Rumble. She can be on X and maybe YouTube if we monitor her closely, but we will see. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show this morning, it's probably your first time here. I know for the thousands of you who are watching, you're like, who the hell are these people? I'm Austin Peterson. This is my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie, who again is heavy with child. We will soon be making the trek to Bethlehem in order to give birth to baby Hazel. Do you know the story, Stephanie?
No.
Okay, so in the Bible, Jesus was born of a virgin, Mary.
Yes.
And there was a census that was being performed. And in order to perform the census, you had to go back to the place of your original birth. And so Joseph and Mary took Mary was heavy with child, and she was on the donkey, and they rode into Nazareth, where there was Bethlehem.
Imagine
The
that
city
trip.
of Bethlehem, and in Bethlehem is where the stable was that they were born, because there was no room at the inn. And
So she gave birth in a stable.
She gave birth in a stable surrounded by the animals because there was no
Would
room
be
at the
cool.
inn.
I would like that. I love farm animals.
No, maybe if you're the son of God, then maybe, because you've got the angel of the Lord looking over you. But if you're if you're the child of an agnostic and a Jew, then you don't get the angel of the Lord looking over you.
There'd be a lot of bacteria in a barn anyway. I don't think I'd want that.
Yes. At least it's actually my child. I didn't get cucked by the Lord, if you know what I'm saying.
No, I'm not a virgin.
No, definitely not. But I am. So if you're enjoying the Wake Up America show and you can tolerate blasphemy like that, then you're in the right place. Click like and follow the channel. And we'd love to have you come back and join us. We're probably going to lose like 200 or 300 people watching that after that. So make sure that you join us regularly if you can take a joke and have a lot of fun. We talk about the news and what's going on in the world. We've been talking this morning about Joe Biden's big boy press conference last night. It's been taken up the whole time, and how more Democrats are now calling for Joe Biden to step down. But not all Democrats are calling for Joe Biden to step down. Like this gentleman. Take a listen.
Whether or not Joe Biden stumbles over things or has a stutter. I mean, hell, sometimes I can't even remember my kids' names because I'm so tired, right? So we got to stop. We got to stop the nitpicking, and then focus on the work ahead. This guy
I don't disagree with you, but
he's done it in the past.
I get you on that.
How many kids does this man have, first of all? Like, does he have so many kids he just can't remember them?
I mean, sometimes I mix up the names of our dogs. So, yeah, it does happen.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's not normal what Joe Biden is doing. That's not normal.
Right.
But he's trying to conflate normal flubs with what Joe Biden is undergoing. Rachel Maddow, she is.
Oh, where has she been? I haven't seen her in a while.
She's struggling.
Uh-huh.
Here's what she's talking about in the world that Joe Biden's living in.
I think that what Nicole points out about the reality about polling numbers for incumbent presidents and the real history of that versus what President Biden said, which was not actually factually accurate as far as I can tell. That's worrying because it makes me worry that the president is being given information about his political standing that may not be based in reality, that may be sunnier than is real.
Yeah, not living in political reality.
Hearing that his foreign policy statements he made at the press conference were not true. So I don't know enough about foreign policy myself, which is probably how most people in America are as well.
Most people don't. Most people have strong opinions about it, but don't know a lot about it.
So I have no idea if all the claims that he made yesterday to the reporters were actually true. But what I'm hearing is they were not.
Well, Joe Biden's been in office again. Since he's 29 years old. He's 81 now. Do the math. Right. He was talking about sitting in the room with Golda Meir, the president of Israel, prime minister of Israel.
Like, who can remember that?
That would have been the 1970s, 60s, right? And
most people in that room were so young.
Well, he probably has those are core memories, but he's probably fading out now in like the more recent memory, which is, we kind of need his more recent memory because he's president now, not in 1969 or 70, wherever it was. But when you see Rachel Maddow acting like this, Stephanie, you were asking a little bit earlier about like at the press conference, how Joe Biden gets the reporters that he's going to call on beforehand.
Yeah, who tells, I guess, how do they decide who is fit to be called on?
Well, and so there was a rumor that on ABC News last week when he was on George Stephanopoulos' show, he was doing the interview, that remember he said the goodest? Something like that. There was like this quote of Joe Biden's in the Stephanopoulos interview where he said something about the goodest, right? And there was a rumor that he had asked them to remove Joe Biden saying that from the 2020 interview or the ABC News interview with Stephanopoulos. And if you're wondering if that happens, if you're wondering if journalists, quote unquote, or I guess reporters, or I guess call them what they are, activists, if they do that in interviews, take a listen to this.
After President Biden called in for a radio interview, one of these interviews done to kind of quell concerns and show the president was fine and completely on point. After he did that call, the Biden campaign called that station asking them to edit out 2 of his answers. Civic Media, Wisconsin Progressive Talk Radio Network, acknowledged that staff took out the Biden campaign's suggested edits, deleting 2 answers from the president's July 3rd interview with host Earl Ingram. The first answer is Biden said, quote, "I have more blacks in my administration than any other president, all other presidents combined, and in major positions, cabinet positions." Obviously not an accurate thing to say. The second, when Biden was talking about Trump's past comments about the Central Park Five, and we should note, like, this is a big journalism no editing out an answer because the politician in his campaign didn't like it, or they didn't like how he came across. I don't know exactly the reason. We'll find out from the Biden campaign.
we know that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't you been asked to delete things from your own show?
Oh yeah. I've had people.
Uh-huh.
I've had people ask to edit interviews, and obviously my show's live, so stuff like that's not happening.
Live you can't, but afterwards in post-production you could.
Yeah, in post production you
Mhm.
could, and it turns out that they actually did edit that out of the interview, and then later it came out. And one of those radio show hosts was fired for revealing that the president's people gave them the questions beforehand. You never do that. You tell them what the topics will be if somebody's
Yeah.
coming on to being interviewed, but you never give them the questions beforehand, because that's not journalism. That's activism.
Mhm.
Right? You're doing a campaign ad in that sense, right? So it's like yesterday, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft came on this show.
Mhm.
He knew what we were going to talk about, but he didn't know what the questions were going to be. And there were questions that came up in the process of our conversation that I hadn't planned for or thought that we would ask or we would talk about, and he didn't too. So so you have to be on your toes. And that's how I try and maintain integrity, is to ensure that any politician who comes on my show, even if I like them, I ask them difficult questions, right?
I think Jay Ashcroft about the foreign companies.
Oh, you noticed that yesterday? Point that out.
I
That was an interesting
especially
story. Yeah.
interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because I know Bill Eigel,
Yes.
he definitely does not want foreign companies buying up Missouri land, and
Right.
he was very adamant about that. But then Jay Ashcroft, I was honestly surprised at his answers. I thought he'd be a little more straightforward.
I'm going to tell you exactly why real quick after this. Just 1 second.
Uh-huh.
Like our friends at Rumble want me to remind you to download the Rumble app. And once you download the Rumble app, search for my channel and follow AP for Liberty directly on the app. That's going to make sure that you get a notification every time that I go live. So click the link in the description that you can see right up here now, and or it's also pinned in the live chat. Download the Rumble app on your phone. It's totally free. But if you prefer to watch it on the big screen, it's also available on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, Roku, LG, and Samsung TVs. All you need to do is search for Rumble. So thank you very much for rumble.com for that. And of course, we appreciate them for helping us to facilitate free speech.
On my phone, whenever I'm watching.
Cool. So Jay Ashcroft's interview, he comes on yesterday and he talks to us about the Chinese buying up farmland in Missouri question. But then I asked him, because Bill Eigel had come on the show, and I had asked him about people from other countries like Japan or Germany,
yeah.
right? So I pressed Jay Ashcroft on that, and all he would say is that Bill Eigel voted to allow this, by the way, even though he's campaigning against it.
Right, which that's bad. Flip-flopping.
But when I pushed Jay Ashcroft to ask, well, should it be illegal for Japanese nationals to buy land in Missouri? Is
Correct.
that okay?
You kept asking, and you even said, how about German nationals?
Well, because Bayer, the pharmaceutical company, they own land here in Missouri, and they do pharmaceutical testing here in the state of Missouri, animal testing and things like that. And that's a significant percentage of our GDP. See, what people just don't understand is that there's this thing called the Pareto principle. And if you ever have a business or own a business or have a staff or employees, you'll recognize this, that 20% of the employees do 80% of the work,
right?
And 80% of the employees slack and don't do much, right? And so when it comes to the United States, because everybody wants to do business here in the United States, we benefit from having the 20% of productive people in other countries coming to the United States to do business, because it's the best place to do business in the world. And so when they come to the United States, we get all their productive people overseas. And that's why, for example, Donald Trump, as much as he got in trouble for saying this, said we should staple a green card to people who come here and get educations and get degrees here in the United States, so that we can maintain their productive and their education. And we educated him, we should benefit from their education here.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing: if Bill Eigel's plan is put into action, and literally no foreign nationals can own property here in Missouri or own companies here in Missouri, then all of a sudden, all we have are the 20% of productive people here in Missouri, and then 80% that are the retards or the lazy people. We have to carry their weight. Right. That's the problem, is that when you're not for international trade, and listen, I understand if you're talking about an adversary like Jay Ashcroft was, like China, like, maybe there's a point there.
Right. He kept saying foreign adversaries.
Right. Maybe you have a point there. But when you're saying, like Bill Eigel is saying, also Japan and like British people can't own land here. And so it's like,
he said everybody.
What that means is that the rest of the 20% of productive people in Missouri suddenly we don't get to benefit from the productive people in Japan or the productive people of the UK, the productive people of other countries. Now all of a sudden it's just us productive people in Missouri having to carry the load of the 80% that aren't doing jack squat, or that that are cruising Facebook, right? The thing. I mean, how many people, ask yourself this, at your job, how many people do you know that are hard workers at your job, right? Aren't most of them
there
like
were barely
slacking?
any when I used to work in a hospital.
It was always like, and it's just like when you had group projects when you were a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
One or two people did all the work, and what did everybody else do? Jack squat,
That's right. Oh, I was always the leader. And as much as I love America,
Mm-hmm.
I do not think Americans are the smartest people in the world.
Well,
I do not think
who's
so.
smarter?
I think Asian people are.
Probably. Well, that's probably true.
I really
actually,
do. Because I used to hang out with the Indian kids at school,
Yeah.
Asian kids.
I think
They're
that there have been
much smarter.
the Nazis love to talk about like IQ, but they like to attribute it to race. When
Mhm.
it's actually more closely attributed to regions.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
It's-
Asian, Indian, they're all from that part of the world.
region. But here's the thing. So what's interesting is if you look at like median incomes based on demographics here in the United States, white Americans actually are in the middle of like
Right.
the income. It's Indian Americans are the top earners, and then like Asian Americans, like Chinese Americans, Vietnamese Americans, they're like number 2, and then white Americans are more like 5, 6, 7 down on the rung. And there's like this trope, and conservatives get really mad when like liberals and libertarians say this. They talk about like immigrants who like pick the strawberries and do the majority of farm work and all that kind of stuff. It's like, we Americans, there's a reason why people like us, like most Americans, they don't want those jobs. They want either white collar jobs, or they want to be influencers, right? They want to do the jobs that we're doing right now. They wanted to have a podcast and become a millionaire, and have kids that open presents on their YouTube channels and make $1 million and stuff like that. They don't want to go do those menial labor farm jobs.
It's like we like to do work, but we don't want to overwork.
Yes.
We're slightly entitled here.
Oh, what do you mean we're slightly entitled? We're absolutely entitled. And you're going to get blue collar people who are going to be like, damn it, no, I want to do those jobs and stuff. And like, well, there are jobs for those people.
Yeah, I mean, like factory workers, they work their butts off.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. And there are jobs for those, some, but whenever there's like for example, we have this whole story in Missouri about this, I think it's an aluminum plant here in Missouri that keeps like threatening to close down. And a Japanese company tried to buy it, and they blocked them from buying it.
There you go.
And it's like, what are you doing, you idiots? At least the people in Missouri would still have the jobs. You would still be making money. Those would still be good paying jobs.
Right.
But the government steps in and thinks that it has to protect the ownership. And what they're doing is they're lying to us, saying, we're doing this to protect American jobs. No, you're doing it to protect American corporate business titans. You're bailing them out, right? And thinking that, and pretending like you're helping out the little guy. If one of the 20% of productive people of Japan buys the aluminum plant here in Missouri and makes it operational and makes it productive and makes it profitable,
it'll be just fine.
It'll be
trust me.
fine. And Americans who live here, I mean, they're not, there'll be some Japanese people that'll come over, but most of the people who are going to be working the plant here in Missouri are going to be Missourians.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd want to work for a Japanese company, because they might make me work harder than I really want to work.
Yes.
Seriously.
My old buddy,
intimidated.
My old buddy who I grew up with, Stephen Rue, over in the chat.
Chat quite a bit.
I know, it's been great to see you here, Stephen. We're really thankful.
See you one day.
I wonder what Stephen thinks about what I've turned out to become. He says hard work is taught through family structure and values. Yes.
I don't know if it's that the IQs are higher in Asians and Indians, but it's just their work ethic is very different.
Well, here's the thing. It's probably not based on race. It's probably based on region is what we're seeing. So from certain regions of the world, because, and here's the thing, American blacks, compare them to European blacks. Right, the
European blacks are
Africans, right? Well, yeah, and have lower crime rates, right? So there's a culture in the United States that is an American black culture,
yes,
that has led to them becoming a subclass here in the United States.
Oh, that's true.
Which which isn't to say that we don't have class mobility in the United States. We absolutely do, but rather than moving up as the Irish did when we used to have discrimination against Irish, the Irish have built culture and community. They ingratiated themselves, became police officers. That's where the name Paddy Wagon came from when it came to police. Read the Renegade History of the United States if you're looking for more history on this. And they moved themselves up in the socioeconomic status, but blacks who recovering from slavery, they briefly moved themselves up in the class structure.
Yes.
And there was a period from around the end of the KKK, around the 1920s until the 1960s, when black families were strong. Black fathers stayed in the home.
Yeah.
And then once the Great Society via LBJ came in the 1970s, there's a famous quote from LBJ that I can't say the whole thing. I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 100 years. And he was talking about how his Great Society programs would put the black class on the dole and force them to vote Democrat, because by getting them addicted to government spending and to welfare, then he would have them attached to the Democratic Party.
That's the downfall.
And they would become a permanent subclass, as they have. And I don't think it's permanent, but I do think that at the moment that Africans in the United States suffer from a culture that has done them not a single bit of good. And,
they're starting to wake up. I mean, a lot of black people like Trump now. So maybe it will turn around.
And Mighty Megatron does come in here with saying that, but America does have the biggest number of black millionaires versus the world combined. So
really?
There you go.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's 8:37. Did you think we were going to run out of things to talk about this morning, Stephanie? I did. When I heard that,
before we started, we thought we were.
Yeah, when I heard that Justin wasn't going to be on the show today, I was kind of like, oh my God.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
We still have to look at Biden's shop.
Oh, yeah. We got to get to Biden's merch shop. We'll get there in just a second. But before we do, real quick, Stephanie, I've got another story that I think is a perfect segue to Biden's shop. This is a new Abraham Lincoln documentary that suggests that and here comes a little bit of PG-13 topic, guys, if you've got kids listening in, okay? So just an FYI, we're going PG-13. We're going dark. New Abraham Lincoln documentary suggests that the ex-president had a secret gay sex life and is an important missing piece of American history.
Oh my gosh. That would be the first time I've ever heard of anything like that. We discovered that after all this time.
Well, it's amazing what you can discover when you just make shit up,
So it's not true? You never know.
I'm not going to say it's not true, but I'm going to say that the chances of that being true are probably slim to none.
We don't know what he kept under that hat.
So this is from the New York Post this morning. Says new Abraham Lincoln documentary suggests that the ex-president had secret gay sex life. So I posted it, and this was such perfect timing. So I posted it with 4 scores, in quote, and 7 beers ago.
He scored.
He scored, yes. Because of the 7 beers that he had.
Oh.
Hey, 7 beers. I'll start thinking about weird stuff myself here. No, I just thought it was hilarious because it was a perfect way for me to put a link to our Abraham Lincoln beer koozie. 4 scores.
I mean, the story was true.
Oh, come on.
Twisted.
Oh, well, a lot of libertarians hate Abraham Lincoln anyway, so it's kind of like, they're looking for an excuse to make fun of him, saying he was a gay and tyrant. Makes perfect sense. So we do have a sale going on from our beer koozies right now. If you buy 2, you get 3 for $1.
Yes, I believe so. And then the stickers that we have is buy 2, get 3 free.
Yeah. So we have got the sweetest merch shop in there, but the Biden-Harris merch shop dropped yesterday.
I'm having so much fun going through it, actually. I love online shopping. Retail therapy is my favorite.
Okay. Let's get to the Biden Harris merch. Here we are. Biden-Harris merch dropped, and it is exactly what you would expect.
What's up with her? They eyebrows. I can't even tell. They have very bushy eyebrows, this person.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing that made me laugh about this is that this person that they hired, right, is like the epitome of who you would think that Biden-Harris voter would look like.
Yes.
Like that is exactly the type of person that you would expect. Look, those eyebrows weigh like 8 pounds each. Yeah. That you say they are in caterpillars, by the way. Most people.
Caterpillars. People say caterpillar.
They don't say caterpillars. They say caterpillars.
Oh, caterpillars.
Caterpillars.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word: I was going to put him, excuse me.
They're
caterpillars.
You say caterpillars.
Yeah.
That there's an R in there. You're right, but it's most people, especially here in Missouri. You're from Michigan,
Yeah.
but people here in Missouri would call that caterpillar.
Okay. I guess that Missouri kind of accent.
Kind of, right.
Yeah.
Mighty Megatron says, "What the f? It's Gorlock Jr."
Oh boy, I wonder if they have like very large sizes. You know, if they have like XXXXX. Here's how it goes.
So here's the thing. So they had 4XL.
Oh.
But it's sold out.
Oh no! Kidding me? Oh my goodness!
They've got plenty of smalls and extra smalls. Okay, so
oh boy,
if you're worried about getting your Biden Harris merch, if you're 4XL, you're out of luck because that's what the majority of people are buying. But if you're looking for a small or extra small and you're a Biden Harris supporter, then yeah, you're in luck. Yeah.
You can get the Biden Demon Eyes shirt.
Okay, so what is the merch shop? What was the URL for the merch shop for the Biden Harris? Biden Harris merch shop.
.store. Let's see
Biden
here.
Biden Harris.
I lost it on my phone. Oh,
on.
here it is. I have it again. Shop.joebiden.com.
Okay, here it is. I got it. Okay.
So, he has these red eyes. And there's actually a color changing mug that changes his red demon eyes into sunglasses.
Yes.
I just wonder why does he have demon eyes? What is going on?
I'm going to give Joe Biden's merch team the W on this one and say that's actually a pretty cool mug. So the laser eyes is a mention of Dark Brandon. So it's kind of like when you get the laser eyes, is like you're going to destroy your enemies. It's a reference. It's a reference to Homelander, which is the show The Boys. We only watched a couple of episodes of this where like they're like evil superheroes essentially.
Yes.
So Joe Biden has like the laser eyes, and then when you pour it in the mug,
something about demon or Satan or something.
Yeah. When you buy right. Nah, well, I think most people would say that it is demon or Satan. Yes,
just probably would. Then
dark roast color changing mug
that are throwbacks, and they have old photos of Kamala and Joe Biden. It's just like literal photographs of them on T-shirts.
Yeah, they also
from back
have
in the day.
They also have this double-sided big head of Joe Biden with the laser eyes.
Yes.
So at least somebody over there got the memo, and like some of their merch is decent. I am just laughing at the Biden Harris tee with the very thick caterpillar eyebrows on there. The
other models on the website, they're not too bad. There's a girl that's kind of pretty in there.
Would you say? Are they more normal? Would you say?
Yeah, they are more normal.
So let's check the shop.
There's somebody that might be trans.
Oh, they got the Biden Harris onesies. They got a Tiny Patriots collection.
He does like babies. He
loves to sniff them.
And then they were going along with the joke about the ice cream. They also have ice cream merchandise.
Yes. They've got ice cream on like wine tumblers.
They even have an ice cream cooler, which I think is a crazy idea.
Yeah, ice cream cooler, red, white, and blue.
You put your ice cream in the cooler.
Yes, for all of the Parkinson or dementia patients out there.
Because, like you said, I think you posted the other day, ice cream helps dementia.
It does. So. They've got a throwback Kamala tee. That's actually pretty good. I'd say that's a good tee. That's the kind of stuff people would want to buy, where it's like Kamala has like an afro. So it's a picture. It's a picture of her. Free on Wednesdays. Not sure what that means.
I don't know. It's probably inside Biden jokes.
Throwback Joe tee shows him as like a teenager where he looks kind of young and handsome and stuff. Like definitely doesn't look like that anymore.
So his merch team, I'd say they're doing a decent job.
I would say so too. Reproductive freedom, got to get the baby killing in there.
Yes. They should put that on the baby onesie. Oh, sorry, you wouldn't be able to use the onesie if you killed your baby.
Looks like
yeah. Imagine an infant wearing a reproductive freedom shirt. What does that mean?
Let's see if they're still sold out on the Caterpillar eyes tee. Let's see. Yesterday they had 4XL. They didn't have 4XLs in stock. So let's see, apparel color, blue.
Maybe they have it in certain colors, but not others.
Let's check it. We're going to add to cart. Let's check it out. I hope they aren't going to email us now. There it is. Oh, they've got a good upsell there. They got a good upsell. We know how that goes. All right. Yeah. It looks like they're back in stock. But compare the Biden Harris shop to the For Liberty shop. And I think as much as they have done a good job to some extent, and we are way better.
models are hotter.
Our models are hotter. The only good fed is belt fed.
right.
Reagan in the streets, Kennedy in the sheets, which, I have to give credit to Neil Struharic for that one. That was his idea. My pronouns are we the people. Also, Angela made a whole bunch of new shirts. I guess this is like the new trend for young people these
There's
days.
pocket tees.
Pocket
something about it.
tees. Yeah, so like t-shirts with pockets on them. And we've got a bunch of our favorite designs over there on the shop. Reagan in the streets, Kennedy in the sheets, merch over at forlibertyshop.com. These designs, most of them are original. Stephanie and I created, and now Angela's making some. So check out forlibertyshop.com, guys. Don't forget, but when you leave today, exit to the Griff Shop, and we've got some amazing deals going on. If you buy 2 stickers, you get 3 free, like this God Over Gov. We sold one of those. Buck Fightin'. Stick them on your laptops. Get some koozies for your cans. You get 2. You buy 2, you get 3 for $1 each. So we've got a lot of great deals going on at the forlibertyshop.com store. So cool. Yeah.
It's fun to go through merch shops.
It is. So is Abraham Lincoln gay? I don't know. Who cares? But I'll tell you what is gay for sure. This video of this Generation Z. These are the women who wrote the scripts for the new Star Wars series.
Gen Z boss in a mini. Gen Z boss in a mini. Itty bitty titties and a bulb. Itty bitty titties and a bulb. 5'3" and an attitude. 5'3" and an attitude. Secret product in the trench. Secret product in the trench. New Frank Green and a sneaky link. New Frank Green and a sneaky link. Fake 10 hands in a hoop. Fake 10 hands in a hoop. Gen Z boss in a mini.
What are they even talking about?
I don't
Is
know.
this from a song or something?
No, they just made it up.
Like
But
a Taylor Swift song?
the thing is about this video is that there's a reason why this is going viral is because, and the best, my buddy Bizlet over on X, he nailed it when he said, these are the girls that think that they're too good for you, that act like they're way too good for you, that like think they deserve
Yes.
a man.
I think their little suits that they're wearing, those suit jackets that are way too big,
Yeah.
and they're drowning in them.
Yes. It's just, God, can Generation Z get any more
Yeah,
annoying?
their outfits are so
I don't know what that is. It's kind of like purposely ugly or something like that.
Right. It's like
Gen Z boss in a
oversized
mini.
on purpose
she's
to
wearing
make
the
their
mini-
little boobies even smaller.
Well, at least they kind of acknowledged it. Itty bitty
Yeah.
titties and a bob. Itty bitty titties and a bob. 5'3" and an attitude. Just what we don't want. Would you say that out of the 6 women that we have here, would you say that 100% are Biden voters? Would you say this
Oh
is?
yeah, they're absolutely Democrats.
You know what they call these? They call them awfuls.
Waffles?
Awfuls.
Awfuls. Okay.
AWFLs. Affluent white female liberals.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Awfuls. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
They probably work in some marketing department or like for some tech company.
Yes.
You can see they have
And
a
they
yoke
don't-
ball in the back. I'm like, are
Yes.
they birthing in the office?
These
like,
are
what's going on?
these are like those girls that worked in the tech jobs that all got fired now because during the pandemic they were like, or right before the pandemic they were like, so this is what I do for my job. I get up, I go to my free breakfast,
Right.
I have an iced coffee, and then I go outside for a walk for 10 minutes. Then I come back in, and then there's catering for lunch, and then I come in, I answer a few emails, I go to a meeting, and then I come in, and then I get free dinner, and then I go home. And they didn't do. Do you remember that trend of like those girls?
I do remember. Absolutely. Yeah, they're wearing like the really ugly pantsuits.
Yes.
Again, it seems to be what these people wear. They pretend as if they like each other and accept each other, but really they hate each other every minute that they're
Stephanie
singing that
knows.
song. They want to pull each other's hair buns out.
Stephanie knows.
Oh, I
Stephanie
can
knows.
feel that tension, and they're all probably on the same menstrual cycle too.
Oh my God, Stephanie! Oh my God!
Oh, it's a nightmare. Yeah. I don't know how I would fit in with those people. Imagine me in an office with these people.
Hold on just one second. Rumble wants me to remind you guys about their own coffee brand. It's time to, speaking of saying Starbucks, time to say goodbye to Starbucks and hello to Rumble's 1775 coffee. Unlike other brands, it's a coffee that backs free speech and is unapologetic about it. Visit 1775coffee.com. Use the promo code STUDIO to get 15% off. Their coffee comes in medium and dark roasts. It also comes in pea berry, which I'd love to try. It's similar to a Kona coffee, like a Hawaiian. In other words, this stuff is premium. So click the link in the live chat that you see or in the description. You can also go directly to 1775coffee.com and use the promo code STUDIO to get 15% off today. Thank you, 1775 Coffee. And of course, thank you to rumble.com for the live read. We appreciate you guys very much. You know how they do.
Sound really good.
I'm
jealous.
I feel like I read them pretty good too.
Yeah, this Peaberry thing. I don't even know what Peaberry is. So it sounds cool.
So let's just, as we go, we've got a few more minutes left in the show. Just to talk a little bit about more kind of like house cleaning stuff. Okay. So we've got a few things we got to hit. One, merch. One, obviously exit the Griff Shop. Two, Baby is coming, and then 3, I want to talk about the new shows and the network and how that's growing. Okay, so let's go in reverse order. We've got 2 new shows that are coming. Okay, yeah, we're building it out.
Paper has been signed.
The paper has been signed. The domain URLs have been registered. I'm building the WordPress website and the back ends and stuff. The first company meeting, network meeting, is tomorrow morning with all of our new hosts, right? So we've got 2 new shows that are coming to grow the Wake Up America Shows network with. So I'm very excited to announce that will be coming soon. More details will be emerging later. So you will be seeing more content from the Wake Up America Shows network, which is not named the Wake Up America Show Network, but I will tell you the network's name here very soon. But it's going to be more podcasts, more hosts, more interviews, more guests, more content similar to the Wake Up America Show, but different styles, of course, different hosts. So we're growing over here, and it's thanks to rumble.com. Rumble Studio is going to be the cornerstone of my strategy. Because like for example, you just heard me doing that live read for Rumble. It used to be really difficult to monetize podcasts.
Oh yeah.
And
YouTube is terrible with monetization.
YouTube is awful for us, right? They demonetized us last year, and then we basically make no money on there. They don't put us in people's feeds. It sucks. But Rumble is amazing. They've been incredible to us.
Yeah.
I actually have a meeting with them later today about how I'm going to enact this strategy. Yeah, to enact this strategy for the new network. So we're going to have the new shows. We'll be able to monetize those shows directly. And I just learned today that, so you heard me do that live read just now for their coffee. I was able to do, instead of just doing 1 live read in the show, I was able to do 3 today for Rumble's studio, which means 3 times the opportunities to make money, which means that if the new shows are hits, right? If they do anywhere, even like as well as the Wake Up America show, we're going to be in a great position to expand even more, right? To go work towards my dream of at minimum 12 hours a day of live shows and mini documentaries. Well, no, full-length documentaries. We'll be able to afford to really ramp up production. A lot of it is thanks to AI, but most of it is thanks to you, Stephanie. And a lot of it is thanks to you, the audience, because you guys have been very, very helpful in supporting us financially through your Rumble
Can you
rants.
bless me with something?
Oh, gosh.
Money-wise. Please.
Can you suck it?
What?
Was that hit by accident?
People like Andy Opperman and Look It's Liz and Camellia and Cecilia and Courtney and
Where's mommy?
Tolly bought a sticker yesterday and Cecilia, and you guys have just made a huge investment in us the last 2 years.
The Unruh family.
The Unruhs. I was terrified when I left the radio job and afraid that I had done great harm to my family by leaving a steady paycheck with health insurance to start this business and this podcast dream. And we are now on the verge of unbelievable commanding heights. The For Liberty shop is growing like crazy. Personally, like my child is going to be born here. First child is going to be born here in a couple of weeks. And yeah, I'm always nervous about like finances and funding and things like that. But like Rumble is making it possible. Rumble Studio is doing better than my wildest dreams could have achieved. And of course, the financial support and the moral support from our audience, people like yourself who join us. I know many of you are regular fans and join us like 5 days a week. So I just want to shout out to you and thank you very much. Beautiful people. We'll miss you when we're gone. We'll probably have the baby before the 1st or 2nd. But if not, then
You think so?
Yeah, but
I think she'll go up until the very last minute and
well, mom's intuition, right? She might come before that, but at a very minimum, Thursday the 1st, the evening. So
Okay.
Friday the 2nd, if she doesn't come, we'll definitely be in.
people have asked, are we going to document any of the birth? And I say yes. You just won't be able to see my private parts. But I'm going to try to say hello to the camera and document my feelings as much as I can. I'm saying that now, but I don't know. But we certainly will at least document as much as we can and make that into a hustling and homemaking video.
For sure. Follow Stephanie's adventures in hustling and homemaking.
I have a cool reel coming up. I take you on a tour of Baby Hazel's room.
Oh, that's right. A room reveal.
We reveal her room.
Yeah, because we showed her room and it wasn't completed yet.
There were just like boxes and supplies.
Now we got the crib and the decorations and everything's ready set up. So Stephanie's going to do a short of a reel of a reveal. So, what was the other things that I said I had to talk to house cleaning before we left?
I said baby.
Merch coming, shop. Merch shop, the new store, or the new things. We're having a Biden brain right now, so I think that was it.
Well, anyway.
Yeah,
look, folks. Well, anyway.
Anyways, thanks so much for all your support, guys. We love you very much, and we can't say enough how much we appreciate you. Baby Hazel may come this weekend. So if that's there and I don't see her on Monday, it's because I'm a dad.
So funny.
I just think that she's gonna come before the inception date, whatever they call it.
I know. Apparently, all these women just want to like get their babies out, and I'm like, I just feel so great.
Yeah. So we love you guys. We'll see you guys on Monday if Baby Hazel isn't here, and if not, then we'll see you after that. Okay. Love you guys, Steffi.
Be free, everybody.
Be free. Don't forget, exit through the Grift Shop at 4libertyshop.com. That's the number 4. We've got a crazy bunch of deals going on right now on stickers and koozies. So exit through the Grift Shop, and we'll see you guys on Monday, maybe, unless, happens. So we'll see you then at the Wake Up America Show at wakeupamericashow.com. Bye, guys.
That's funny.
Includes the Wake Up America Show's series on Supreme Court decisions that changed history. Let's look back in time at Plessy v. Ferguson, the separate but equal doctrine. Plessy v. Ferguson was a landmark 1896 Supreme Court decision that upheld racial segregation under the separate but equal doctrine. This case arose when African-American Homer Plessy refused to sit in a segregated train car, leading to his arrest and legal battle. Plessy argued that segregation violated his constitutional rights, but the Supreme Court disagreed. The court ruled that laws implying a legal distinction between races were not unconstitutional, thus validating the segregation laws known as Jim Crow laws. After the Compromise of 1877 ended Reconstruction, white supremacy regained control in Southern legislatures. Although black people initially hoped for equality under the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, these promises quickly faded as new segregation laws emerged. In the 1880s, Southern states began passing laws requiring separate railroad cars for black and white passengers. Florida was the first state to mandate this in 1887, followed by Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, and others. In response to these new laws, the black community in New Orleans decided to resist. Central to this resistance was a Louisiana law mandating separate but equal railway carriages for white and black passengers, which prompted the legal challenge. Homer Plessy, who was of mixed race, agreed to challenge this law. On June 7, 1892, he bought a ticket for a whites-only train car and refused to leave, leading to his arrest and subsequent legal battle. After being convicted in a New Orleans court, Plessy filed a petition against Judge John H. Ferguson, arguing that the segregation law violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. By 1896, segregation and black disenfranchisement were deeply entrenched. On May 18, 1896, the Supreme Court ruled that separate but equal facilities on interstate railroads were constitutional, restricting the 14th Amendment's protections to political and civil rights, not social rights. The court argued that segregated facilities were not inherently inferior. Justice Henry Brown stated that any perceived inferiority of segregated facilities was a result of the black community's interpretation, not the law itself. Justice John Marshall Harlan was the lone dissenter. A former slaveholder who had changed his views, Harlan argued that segregation was inconsistent with equality under the law and represented a form of servitude. Harlan's dissent highlighted the contradiction between segregation and constitutional equality. He insisted that the separation of races on public highways was a badge of servitude and could not be justified legally. The Plessy v. Ferguson verdict entrenched the separate but equal doctrine, legitimizing the Jim Crow laws that segregated public facilities like buses, hotels, theaters, pools, and schools for decades. In 1899, even Harlan seemed to accept segregated public schools as constitutional. It wasn't until the 1954 Brown v. Board of Education case that the Supreme Court reversed its stance. Chief Justice Earl Warren, writing the majority opinion in Brown v. Board of Education, declared that separate but equal had no place in public education because segregated schools were inherently unequal. The Brown decision recognized that segregated schools violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, effectively overturning the Plessy v. Ferguson ruling and setting the stage for the civil rights movement.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to wake up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP4Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at ap4libertyshop.com.
Good morning to the Cantina crew. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America show. I've decided that Austin Petersen will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go.